Welcome, sports fans, to another Monday night episode of Monday Night Quarterbacks. I'm one of the hosts, Josh J. Fresh Minahan, here with the other two,
Anthony Gianelli
and
Xander Munson.
And we're here tonight, and we're going to kick things off with the NFL Draft.
Let's get to it.
So everybody's pretty stoked on where their team ended up.
Oh, yeah.
I think, you're sitting really good, right, Anthony? Yeah. But you're sitting good with you feel good about your draft picks for Houston. Mm-hmm. Pretty strong picks. I know you guys doing a lot of offensive, defensive, moves, like trying to keep it so that way quarterback safe this year. I noticed that.
Yep.
Xander, happy with yours? Where are you sitting?
This was one of the first years being a Carolina Panthers fan where I felt like we had a very well just all-around draft because we get a big receiver in Tedero McMillan.
Very big. Yep.
He just torched college this year. We get two defensive ends. We get Princely Umanmielen from Ole Miss. Nick Scorton, who's a transfer. He went to Texas A&M. Then we get some, backup players. We get Jimmy Horn very late in the draft.
Yeah, I was surprised how late Jimmy Horn went in that draft.
Yeah.
I expected him to go actually a lot higher. Like we also said, I said the same thing with Genty. Like you said, Genty did go 6 to the Raiders, but Genty being a possible Heisman pick, I thought he would have went, 4, 3, just because.
Me personally, should have won the Heisman, but that's another story. With the amount of big name players in this draft, you got Cam Ward, obviously, going first overall to the Titans. You get Travis Hunter, the Heisman winner, going to the Jaguars, who they traded up to get. And then they've got Abdul Carter, star defensive end from Penn State.
Yep.
And then Will Campbell was the first pick that I was like, oh, okay, we're getting, because, Patriots, they got their, future quarterback for the long-term run with
Drake May.
Yep. And now they've got offensive help with Will Campbell, who's an absolute dog from LSU.
Yeah, if you didn't see that draft video by Will Campbell, go check that out because him literally in tears talking about how he's willing to put his life on the line to protect his not only his quarterback but his teammates on the offensive line. Quite impressive stuff because he's a big guy and he was moved to tears about, going that high in the draft as an offensive lineman, that's a big deal.
Yeah,
for sure. And then, like you were saying, Texans, pretty strong draft. Who are you stoked about on your draft?
Definitely the receivers from Iowa State, but also I can't remember if he was a guard, but the offensive lineman from Minnesota, he looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Also, before we go any further, as you can see, we have the numbers down on there. So if you want to go ahead and give a call, go ahead and do so. We're not shy from a call.
No, regardless of what topic we're talking about, if you want to talk about something, call in, and we'll gladly switch over to it. This is just, we're just doing what we got to fill the time. So, if you've got something you want to talk about, local or pro, we'd love to talk about it. So, but go ahead. So Texans, you feel good about that draft? I think everybody, this year kind of went offensive line. I know Chiefs, they picked up Ohio State's Joshua Simmons, went super late in the draft. You're talking 32nd pick in the draft, and this guy was projected number 1, but he had that knee injury this last year. But that guy only allowed, 1 sack in 2 years of playing at collegiate level for Ohio State. That's crazy.
Yeah, those numbers are unheard of.
Right.
Literal video game numbers.
Exactly. So, like they said, he would have been a top 5 draft pick if it wouldn't have been for his knee injury towards the end of that career. But according to Kansas City and some other sources, if you will, like Adam Schefter and stuff, but they said it should be no effect going into this upcoming season. So, good draft picks, it looks like all around. So, it's a fun season coming up, I think, in the NFL. I'm really stoked. I think a lot of the teams got what they needed, not what they kind of just, other than I don't know what Cleveland's going to do with their quarterback room.
That Cleveland
part, in my opinion, because you have not only did they draft Dylan Gabriel, in the 3rd round, if I remember correctly.
I think it was 3rd round.
Yeah, it was 3rd.
I remember right, it was 3rd round, and then they draft Shedeur in the 5th round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 5th round, and it's
and you still have Joe Flacco.
Yep.
Yeah, and a laboring Deshaun Watson after 2 ruptured Achilles.
But also you got Pickett from, the Steelers.
Oh, yeah. And I forgot about it. So, 5 quarterbacks, all,
Yeah, 2 rookie QBs, along with some veterans.
They definitely have to do some cuts in that room before the 54 man. Was it 53 or 54?
52, something, 53. But all I know is that rumor in the Browns locker room, division, in their house, is that Shedeur isn't even going to make it to pretty much training camp. like they may cut him before that even.
You know what?
So why would they draft him?
It would.
Maybe because somebody might need something. That's the only thing I can think of.
It's a big PR move in my opinion because
Oh.
going into the draft, top 5 pick guaranteed was what everyone was calling, and then first couple of picks go by and it's like, oh, we haven't heard Shadur's name. Then the Giants come up later in the draft and they take QB from Ole Miss, Jackson Dart.
Yeah, they actually
instead of-
traded up with us, the Texans, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
They traded up with them to get him, which I think was a very good draft there by the Giants, was to get Jackson Dart.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, Jackson Dart showed out, especially last year. Not so much his couple years before, but this last year in NCAA, he looked really good. I will say this, a lot of those moves, especially in the first round, kind of surprised me. I was surprised Houston traded, but I guess maybe,
To be fair,
but then-
I mean, we still got players, so I'm not upset.
yeah, but like the one, like, it was a weird trade. It didn't really make a lot of sense either way. And I think that last one shocked a lot of people was the Eagles and the Chiefs just trading 31st and 32nd.
Yeah.
Well, I talked to Bill, which we've all had him as a teacher, and the rumor is with the Eagles is that they were not worried so much about the Chiefs taking whoever it was the Eagles took. The Eagles knew they weren't going to have a pick till later in the second, and some people had already traded up in the second, and they were worried
Oh, okay.
that he was going to go there. So they were just trying to, more secure a better spot for him because they just didn't want to risk any chances. So, just some interesting things with the draft. But
I will say another Eagles pick that I really liked was defensive tackle Ty Robinson from Nebraska.
of course,
Which,
You got Cam Jurgens and Ty Robinson?
yeah, but Cam Jurgens just getting a contract extension for about 3 years.
Yep.
So, but Ty Robinson, he destroyed the combine. He had the fastest 40 time, fastest shuttle time, 3-cone drill. He just exploded during the combine. But Ty Robinson is one of those players where it just attracts me to football. He's one of those like football guys that just makes you love the game even more.
Right.
Because he's just got that intensity and love for the game.
see, I get exactly what you're saying. I was the same way with J.J. Watt. Me not even being a Texans fan, but I would watch Texan games just because the way that guy played the game, it made me want to watch him.
Yeah.
Not to mention, like, his care for Houston, like, when he was in Houston, like, we had all those hurricanes, like Hurricane Harvey and all that. And just his foundation is what helps so much Houstonians, like, get back up on their feet and all that stuff.
Well, and that's some of those great players like that. They not only look out for their team, but they look out for their community as well. I mean, you see it all over the board. I know Drew Brees, when it hit Katrina, I know he did a bunch of, help out there helping building houses, rebuilding stuff. I mean, that's nice to see how it's like, even though, those guys have tons of money and don't have to, that's not what it's about for them.
Well, another example of that is recently when Matt Stafford retired with the Rams.
And the Flyers.
Yeah, the wildfires over there in California, and just the community that they've built out there with them.
Well, and that's, like you said, he was the same way in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Same way in Detroit. I mean, Detroit was trying to rebuild a lot while he was 12 years he was there. And I'm telling you, like, that guy, he never said anything bad about the town. He just wanted to make it better.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. And that's why I love things like that. And those stories are always nice to hear. So
I feel like I noticed, like, you remember the one trade they did with Jared Goff and Matt Stafford, like switcheroo.
Uh-huh.
Both of them are doing like great for the cities. And all
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's like the one most recent, like, even trade that I've seen in a while, because, you've got your trade winners, losers, like good player or a bad player, and you see how those careers kind of pan out. But the Jared Goff, Matt Stafford is the one trade where I've seen where I'm like,
it's almost dead even.
Very similar.
It is.
Matt Stafford going to like the year after he just got traded, or like almost like less than a year, he wins the Super Bowl with the Rams.
Yep.
And then Jared Goff, he hasn't won one yet.
No, but he's
gotten them to the playoffs.
He's taken a team farther than they've went in 30 years.
Yeah.
That's
He took a team
impressive.
that was in the dumps and went 0-16 one year.
Yep.
And they brought them all the way to the AFC or NFC Championship game.
That's impressive. I mean, it doesn't matter past that level. That's impressive. Like
last year, they had the wild card bye, and then they unfortunately lost to Washington in the divisional round.
Right.
But still, though, that's still a good feat for Detroit, though, the last couple of years.
Nope. You can't look down on any of that quarterbacks like that have done. And I mean, going forward, it's going to be interesting to see how this draft has affected some of these major quarterbacks like that. Because I know Los Angeles has gotten a couple really good players.
Yep.
Detroit picked up really good players. They should have Aiden Hutchinson back. There's a lot of factors going to come into next year, and of course, we'll have factors that'll pop up before that.
Yep.
Who knows? There might be another Chiefs wide receiver with a gun charge, and we lose them for the season. So who knows? I'll talk. Spade's a spade.
Oh, yeah.
We tend to have bad luck with that stuff. So
Worthy's been pretty
yeah, Worthy did get acquitted, so we're on the move.
Hey, there you go.
But
speaking of headlines like that, I wanted to bring up something about, you all remember the Michigan scandal that was going on with Connor Stallions, right?
yep.
So it has just been reported
I
that
did see this earlier today.
you're good. Yep.
Jerome Moore will be forfeiting. Well, he will not be coaching weeks 3 and 4 because of a suspected recruiting scandal.
So when Coach Harbaugh was coaching with the Michigan, it was also the same year I think they won the championship.
It
Connor
was.
Stallions got involved with the scandal where they were doing sign stealing and all that stuff, where the other team was looking on the other side and they were stealing they were going they knew which signs they were doing and all that.
Supposedly in the championship game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So and which led I think last year different team members having different shirt colors and they were
Right.
doing different signs, which I thought was genius actually to do that.
It is smart, but here's the funny part is that it's not Coach Harbaugh that's paying the penalty for it because he's out there in LA coaching the
He
Chargers.
already did do a penalty game for it a couple years back.
Right, but it's his successor that gets to step in and be like, well, I guess I'm going to take the heat for that.
So the reason why he's getting suspended for 2 games now is because apparently it was found out that he deleted text messages
Mhm.
from Connor Stallions, if I remember correctly, about this whole situation.
Pretty much, yeah.
So like you said, he's going to be sitting out week 3 and 4, which is going to be Central Michigan, and a big one, Nebraska.
Yep. That's
No wonder you guys know about it.
the whole reason why I looked at that one because I saw week
Oh, you guys.
Nebraska and I was like, ooh, baby, we gonna have a shot.
Well, that doesn't mean that we can just ease all out.
Oh, no, you better
Don't get me
keep-
wrong, Michigan was not that great last year.
No. I think Michigan is going to be one of those interesting teams because they've got the number 1 freshman recruit coming into the country,
Mhm.
Bryce Underwood. But they've got a lot of upperclassmen that are still there.
Mhm.
It'll be a very interesting season for them. I think it'll be better than last year. But coming into Lincoln, we'll see how it goes.
Oh, yeah. Now, let's get on to the NBA playoffs,
Sorry.
shall we?
Yes, let's get into it. It's just your confidence with the Huskers. Just
Oh, yeah.
every year, I get to enjoy it. And every year about midseason, you're like, dang it!
Yeah,
So
it's like that. The preseason, it's the preseason hype that gets you.
Right.
But I think this year, especially with Matt Rule at the helm, year 3 is always the year that they get it done.
and it is sophomore season for Dylan Raiola, a little bit more in the comfort seat for him, a little bit more relaxed. So I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But it's like the kid on Christmas that knows he's getting a PS5, and then when he gets done opening everything and realizes he didn't even get a PS4. yeah, that's your attitude. But yeah.
Anyways,
And NBA playoffs, big deals. I mean, both our teams were in it. We're in it.
I'm okay with
Game 7 all the way, rookie
It was-
team for the
it. It
Rockets.
was an exciting series.
It was a very-
I had a chance to watch this too. It was just back and forth between, and not only tussling back and forth as well.
Oh, a very aggressive game.
Yes,
Headbutts.
Game 5.
Yeah, headbutts from the bench. I know,
Pat Spencer.
Pat Spencer, thank you, because I kept wanting to say Cam,
Uh-huh.
which is his brother, Cam Spencer, and I was like, it's not Cam.
No.
Yes, Pat Spencer takes on, 6'11", Şengün
Yeah.
for the Rockets, and it's hits him with a headbutt, and even then Draymond steps in and is like, let's not do this, Trace Jackson Davis. But either way, we got four games going this week. So you have the Nuggets versus the Thunder. You have the Celtics versus the Knicks, which that was another one that went to Game 7, I do believe. Knicks Pistons,
Yep.
which was another more veteran team led by Jalen Brunson with a rookie team of the Detroit Pistons. So both Pistons and Rockets, nothing to scoff at on how their year turned out. With rookie teams like that going into next season, really somebody to be terrified of, especially the defense of the Rockets. I'm not trying to graze yet. That defense put Golden State on their heels that whole series. I mean, low-scoring games, great games, but yes, my Golden State Warriors moving on, getting to face probably the toughest team, if you ask me, in this find these final rounds with the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Oh my goodness.
Those guys are clicking. Julius Randle.
Yeah, Julius Randle, you've got Anthony Edwards, you got Rudy Gobert, who dropped, 20 and 20.
Yeah, 20 rebounds and 20 dunks. Well, pretty much dunks, because, I mean, he was just over top the Lakers, which, I mean, if we want to get into the aspects of things, Wolves weren't even supposed to be moving on. Everybody.
Speaking of which, let's go ahead and do the upsets, which involve.
Perfect. Yeah, let's do that. I'll get the sound effects good.
So obviously the upset of the week, or the past couple of weeks, has been the Timberwolves upsetting the Lakers in stunning fashion, mind you, because this was the first time the Lakers have been shut out like this in the first.
They were like, I don't know if they've ever went out in first round of the playoffs. I don't know if the Lakers ever have. No, if they make it to the playoffs, they don't ever go out in first round. I think this is the first round exit ever for the Lakers. So I may be wrong on that. I mean, if somebody's out there and they think I'm wrong, the phone number's right there, so you can call in and tell me. But that being said, everybody, Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5.
Yep, Shannon Sharp on NBA TV or whatever.
Well, and it just shows right here, those guys know about as much as what is going to happen as what us three here know what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would have said the exact opposite. I know the damage that Ant Edwards, Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo. I mean, I'm still wearing his Warriors jersey.
Yeah.
Dude, lights out. I mean, DiVincenzo and Jalen Brunson on Villanova, like, get out of here, championship team.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that's another thing, they think, oh, this team is like kind of young when it looks at Ant Edwards or even Dante DiVincenzo. It's like, those guys are championship players from college.
Yeah.
They know what pressure is, okay? So, I think in the Western Conference, the team to beat is the Timberwolves. And now you've had one game so far for the East, and that's the one teams I haven't mentioned, which is the Indiana Pacers and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And everybody's been saying, again, just like everybody's saying OKC is going to run over everybody. Everybody said Cavaliers is going to run over everybody. Oh, Pacers already up 1-0, and they look good.
Yeah.
They look good.
I could see it being like, because the Pacers are in a completely different division than like the Timberwolves.
Yeah, that Pacers are East, Wolves are West.
That's what I was
Yep.
thinking too. So like,
It could be that.
I think so too.
I don't doubt that at all. Tyrese Halliburton is going off on and I mean, don't get me wrong, had a little bit of guff there with his dad on the court.
Yeah.
And I mean, you got some people.
Giannis going at it.
I'm not a fan of Giannis, so I'm not going to say anything about Giannis. I'm going to keep my mouth shut on that, but I will say on that simple fact is Tyrese deserves to be on that court.
Yeah.
His father does not.
Correct.
Stay away. I mean, if that was anybody else other than Tyrese Halliburton's dad, if I would have went up and gotten in Giannis's face like that, it wouldn't have been a gentleman's, excuse me, you need to move away from him.
Yeah.
I'd have been blindsided over here by 6'4" monster, and I'm going to wake up in the hospital with a concussion.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
and a couple
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So just because your son is an NBA player, that does not mean that you have the rights of an NBA player to sit there. And again, I'm not a fan of Giannis, but the man just won a championship a couple years ago. He is a top tier NBA player. You cannot walk up to a man like that and not even address him aggressively, but I don't care if you want to talk trash, do whatever, you save it for someone, not after you just sent a team home.
Yeah.
The emotions are running high enough. There is no reason that you need to be like that.
As much of a win that was, and
It's
how
huge win.
big they won.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, again, you watched Celtics pretty much wipe the floor with their opponents. You watched Cleveland do the same thing with the Heat. I mean, what they do, they set the Cleveland beat the Heat those last two games more than 30 points. No teams have ever lost back-to-back games in the playoffs by 30 points or more both games.
I feel so bad for Miami.
So I'm just saying, you didn't see that type of aggression by, Siakam's dad, anybody.
Yeah.
You don't see that from so I just don't. You do see it with John Morant's dad. So, okay, moving on, I guess, and Ball's dad. LeVar does seem to think like he can do whatever he wants, but, sometimes people get a little bit too big of a head, and it's not you're not famous. You're not famous.
It's like what we were
It's your kids.
It's like what we were saying to podcast a couple of weeks ago was like, which should be posted on YouTube soon. No, because like that's what we were talking about in the podcast too.
We were.
Like, some of the athletes were getting too much into their head, and like they don't think like they normally would about some of the stuff, or ethically about some of the stuff.
Exactly. You know, and that, you look at it like this way. You look at Michael Jordan and all the limelight that man had, commercials, this and that.
Yeah.
6 final appearances, all of them wins, all of them shutting down massive teams. You never saw, well, Jimmy wasn't there for the last ones, but you didn't see his dad out on the court
No.
talking trash to Larry Bird or any of these guys just in a regular seat. It just didn't happen.
Yeah.
So there's no need for that. So I get it, but even me not liking Giannis, I don't think did anything wrong in that, and yeah. So some of those things you tend to pay in the end. So we'll see how it goes for the Pacers, but you never know. Cleveland might turn around and just go off this next game. But that's the great thing about the playoffs is that every game's different. I mean, 3-1, we're up. You bring it back 2 games, and I'm
We had a good one going.
2 definitive games.
Yeah.
I was worried about Game 7.
Yeah, along with Fred VanVleet just tearing it.
Dude, that man and his 3 points. Somebody needs to slow him down.
I was just glad we were in the playoffs.
Nope. Well, and you can look forward to that in the next years to come because you got a great team with Jabari Smith Jr., Jalen Green, and I mean,
Amen Thompson.
Steve Adams. If he stays on the team, we'll see what happens, you know. But yeah, a lot of great players.
They got a really young. It's almost like the Thunder, really young team that's gonna grow as they go.
Mm-hmm. So if you can keep them together, I think you got a really good, especially the next 5 years, really impressive run ahead of you. So. I know we did. I see your notes here, and you need to bring this up because this is a monster.
I was about to bring
Do it right now.
Sticking with the NBA. So the San Antonio Spurs coach or former coach Greg Popovich will be stepping down, and he will be serving as the team president from now on. And I believe it's handing it over to Mitch Johnson, if I remember correctly.
I think you are correct on that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a name like Popovich, so I'm not 100 on it.
Different, man.
But that being said, I know we were looking at pictures of Popovich like 20 years ago, and the guy hasn't aged, other than just looking a little bit whiter. But I'm telling you, I see this move with him stepping down and being like the president.
He's calling himself El Jefe.
Yeah, El Jefe,
I like that.
baby.
I get it. But Pete Carroll did the same thing for a season with the Seattle Seahawks, and now he's the head coach. He could only for the Raiders.
I guess
he could. So all I'm saying is like, we'll see. Give Popovich a couple years out of season. He's not. I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know.
That's a good point. But like, maybe he missed it. He was like,
That's what I'm saying.
I'll recruit somewhere else. See what happens.
Well,
I will say with Nick Saban, he's still in college football, but not in the same way as he was with Alabama.
If he wasn't allowed to do the mass amount of commentating that he's done, I could see him within the next year going back to coaching all day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just able to keep him in the driver's seat, and not only that, like when he's in the driver's seat like that, I watch, what is it that he does the talk show with?
College Game Day?
Yeah, I watch that, and I'm sitting there, and he sits there, and he drives that thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude, him and Pat McAfee those two going at it are my favorite thing.
Yo.
Speaking of College Game Day, I don't think we said it yet earlier on the show. Lee Corso will not be doing that.
No.
Yeah, this will be his last year on College Game Day, which shout out to Lee Corso because
I don't even know how many years he's been, like 53 or something like that.
Very long time.
Like
I think his first year was it was either the first time he did it was the 70s or the 80s.
Yeah.
So I was like,
No.
His track record of
So far back.
from the headgear thing,
Yeah.
there's a stat out there showing how good he is with the headgear picking because he's chosen teams multiple times. I know he's chosen USC 14 times and he's undefeated when picking them.
Really?
That or it was Virginia Tech. But just
Still.
his footprint on college football, just the impact that he's had, especially with College Game Day, just it's unheard of.
No, and I mean, that's the great thing is, he had that amazing, illustrious career. And like you said, you've watched his videos on YouTube. They're out there.
I had
mean,
to rewatch her YouTube. Like when I heard it, I'm like, oh, that gets like I need to rewatch his videos, and it gave like a compilation like every time like he did like from like when he was starting out to like
right.
pretty much almost now.
But the great thing is now we get to see who's going to step in and be the next Lee
I hope
Corso.
they continue this tradition. It's a very good tradition.
Oh, they have to.
See, I've seen both sides of it where it's like they have to continue it to honor Lee Corso, but then I've also seen the side where you got to retire it with Lee Corso.
Yeah, but
I guess that's something you would leave up to that guy himself, you know?
yeah, true.
You know?
It's just like Abdul Carter trying to find his number for the Giants.
Well, you're talking to a little bit more aggressive person than Lee Corso and Lawrence Taylor. Like,
Yeah, because
if I saw Lee Corso in an alley, I wouldn't be scared. Lawrence
Yeah.
Taylor, probably running the other way.
with Lawrence Taylor on the Giants back in the day, MVP,
Yeah.
defensive MVP.
Lightning Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah.
Dude. Again, Joe Theismann's not really a fan of him, if you know that story. But
You know,
yeah, also you can find on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I'll have to like do more stuff like
which
that.
that's a whole other story. Just the comparison between Joe Theismann and Alex Smith.
Oh, same thing.
Those injuries is very interesting. It's nothing like too serious, but it's just weird to see how similar
They're almost exactly the same.
it is.
Exactly the same, except for, unfortunately for Alex Smith, he contracted that disease halfway through recovery and almost took it after that. So,
Did you want to know who sacked him that day?
who was it that sacked him that way? Was it Watt? It was Watt.
It was
I
Watt.
thought it was. Watt took out Alex Smith, and well, again, I love the intensity that JJ plays with is almost unmatched, especially in his prime.
Knowing him, he probably didn't even do it like that to him.
Well, and same with LT. LT wasn't doing that. LT is just playing his position.
Yeah.
I get to the quarterback, let's take him down. So, I mean, you look at the same thing with Dak Prescott. When you had that was Dak trying to stay up. Guy was just trying to pull him to the ground. So,
It's unfortunately that's kind of instant. It's like it depends on what position you play. Unfortunately, it's going to happen. But that depends like how much stretching exercise you do or how much like.
I mean,
how
that's
well
also
you exercise.
just knowing the game of football. You know going into it that you have a risk of an injury.
Same thing. Like, cause like it's different in each sport. Like motorsport, like you could die like if you crash like in ball of flame and all that. It's happening.
or you could walk out.
Yeah, that's it.
That's also been seen. So,
You really like that.
I really like that scene. But I mean, but to be honest, that's with any sport because DeMar Hamlin,
Yep.
one shot straight to the chest. I mean, if it wouldn't have been for the fast response of
Shout out to-
the Buffalo Bills and the Bengals, all medicine officials on both sides of the team came together,
Yeah, basically every medical
kept him alive
member
up
that
until
was
the ambulance got
at
there.
that point.
And then you have people going in the comments and going like, "Well, it's fake." Oh,
No.
It's
I really.
So-
that was
I'm
that's
just gonna
one of
say
those.
I do not like people who do that. Do not, please, stop.
Yeah, that was one of those moments where I was just genuinely shell shocked.
Yeah.
And like
I didn't the game too.
Yeah, they discontinued the game, which was the first time I've ever seen.
I think it's the first time
a
ever.
game
I've
do
seen
that.
some. I mean, I saw Ryan Shazier get picked up. I mean, I've seen some stuff, and that's a great thing. So, don't forget. Up right after this, we also have the podcast, which unfortunately I've got some stuff to do with my kids, and I won't be in on tonight. But Xander and Anthony both going to be at the helm tonight, so tune in for that. 2 weeks from now is the next one.
Yep, 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now. If you're just getting in and not getting to watch this live, you're watching it on YouTube or wherever, 2 Mondays from now, that phone number right now, we'd like some phone calls. Whatever you want to talk about. Nebraska, we can talk about Iowa,
Talk about whatever you
talk about whatever.
Oh, please.
Yep, so
Any sport, any level.
Anthony is desperate. So, again, thanks everybody for tuning in to Monday Night Quarterbacks. I'm Josh J. Fresh Minahan.
Anthony Gianelli.
And Xander Munson.
Have a good one, guys.